All right, welcome to another edition. Soto Desperado plays Star Wars: The Old Republic. I'm continuing. I think I only got 2 more heroics to do. Yeah, this one and one more, and that's it. Oh, boy, I still got stuff backed up that I haven't done yet. But anyway, got a bunch of stuff here. All right, so I was listening to Anton, multi-millionaire show. I like when he gets frustrated. He's funny. New York City mayor wants a pardon. Oh, boy.
Eric Adams is visible right now, and they're having conversations about Eric Adams because Trump is saying that he would consider pardoning Eric Adams. Check it out.
Yeah.
Well, would Donald Trump pardon Mayor Eric Adams if convicted?
Interesting question. Well, the president-elect answering it today on the day when Adams got some bad news for his re-election. Pix 7's Eileen LaPalmer has the latest for us from Midtown.
I don't think I should comment.
New Yorkers reacting to President-elect Donald Trump saying he would pardon Mayor Eric Adams if he's convicted.
I think it should be said now, because look at what Trump did. Come on.
Here's how.
Let's rewind that for a second. Let's back up. I want you to see it be your own people.
Good comment.
New Yorkers reacting to President-elect Donald Trump saying he would pardon Mayor Eric Adams if he's convicted.
I think it should be said now, because look at what Trump did. Come on.
Here's how Trump phrased it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I think that he was treated pretty unfairly. Now, I haven't seen the gravity of it all, but it seems, like being upgraded in an airplane many years ago. I know probably everybody here has been upgraded.
The indictment, however, also includes alleged campaign fund corruption. Trump's comments of support coming as the New York City Campaign Finance Board announced Monday that for now it will not give Adams the more than $4 million he requested in matching public funds for his 2025 re-election campaign. They cited the ongoing criminal indictment and his campaign's failure to adhere to the program's rules. Adams' attorney said in part in a statement they're disappointed, but added we will continue to work with the board to address any issues so that funds can be appropriately dispersed.
His ability to raise money to be competitive is really shot.
Susan Kang, associate professor of political science at John Jay School of Criminal Justice, says Adams has been distancing himself from New York City as a sanctuary city, which puts him at a disadvantage to run in the Democratic primary in June, but added,
I think that Eric Adams is trying to signal to President Trump that President Trump has an ally in Eric Adams because he really wants that pardon. I don't think he's thinking about what effect this has on voters.
Another recent development, the federal prosecutor who brought the charges against Adams resigned last week, and the next U.S. attorney will be appointed by Trump. So how did Adams react to the news of the potential pardon?
I got to do my job. And I have an attorney that is going to look at every avenue to ensure I get justice. I did nothing wrong. Should not have been charged. And I just think, God has a way of showing the irony of life.
And Eric Adams.
We're going to get to Eric Adams's reaction to it because can I please get my credit? Long before this election ever even took place, I said that Eric Adams was going to distance himself from the Biden administration because they had looked at him as a leper. He was going to pivot, basically switch parties without switching parties, work with the Trump administration, be completely different from Brandon Johnson, and then hopefully get a pardon. I laid it out very clearly for you guys. Very clearly, I said that this was going to be the play, that Eric Adams was going to line himself with Trump, that he had been distancing himself away from the Biden administration long ago, and that he was going to eventually get a pardon. It's so much to mine out here, but I said that I was going to throw this back in y'all faces to prove that this is exactly how it was going to play out. that it was going to play out just like this, that he was angling himself and putting himself in a position and ultimately was going to depend on the Republican Party and Trump, which I don't want to hear nothing from nobody. I don't want to hear anything from anybody that says that Trump, A, don't hold down black people, and that B, that he do not seek revenge, but at the same time that he's actually looking forward to working with people, and as long as you work with him, he gonna ensure that he work with you. Trump ain't tripping on whether or not you're a Democrat or a Republican. Trump is worried about whether or not you're gonna be in the way of him getting stuff done.
In our last conversation, you said that God acts in mysterious ways. Today, the President-elect Donald Trump is willing to review your case, and he said that he's considering to pardon your corruption federal case. Do you think this is a way that God is showing you right now to go?
Listen, sometimes you have to let go and let God. I have been clear on that from day one, being in office, what my religious belief, and God has navigated my life. I tell people it's GPS. That's my God positioned satellite. I got to do my job. And I have an attorney that is going to look at every avenue to ensure I get justice. I did nothing wrong. Should not have been charged. And I just think, God has a way of showing the irony of life. I'm just saying the same thing that President Biden said. President Biden stated his Justice Department has been politicized. President Trump stated that. I stated that. Family members who find themselves on the FBI list because they're advocating for their family members. And I just started looking at these cases over and over again. No Americans should be going through what I'm going through. And what my attorney decides to do, I'm going to follow the direction of my attorney. And one thing he says, listen, Eric, I know that...
Hey, he got a little bit more bounce in his talk, the way that he's talking, the way his shoulders moving, how enthusiastic he is about talking to the people and having conversation. Eric Adams got a whole new pep in his step. At first, he was making his rounds to the black churches, and he was like, hey, pray for me. Pray for me. Now he got a little bit more pep in his step, because, I told y'all, Biden, he completely throwing the whole Biden administration under the bus. He said, hey, man, I told y'all that the Biden administration was politicizing the offices. I told y'all. Trump told y'all. Me and Trump been lockstep, lock and key, eye to eye, focused on each other. Trump said it. I said it. I'm tired of the Biden administration. Ain't that different? Ain't it different when you win? Everybody kissing the ring now, huh?
You are this guy that wants to fight and constantly defend yourself. I need you to have discipline right now, and I'm going to follow his direction. He's a great attorney, probably one of the best in the country, and he gave me my instruction. I'm going to follow my instructions, and whatever pathway he sees fit, that is what I'm going to do.
How do you feel about him say that?
My attorney would tell you how I feel.
Like he laughing, he giggling, he talking, got that little giggle in his voice. Yeah, my attorney will talk to you, though.
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
Have you had any conversations with the president-elect on the pardon or any other topic?
He can't say that.
And
He's
would you
addressed
accept
a lot of
it
it.
if offered?
He's addressed a lot of it. Do you have any other questions?
Well,
only thing we
gonna
talk
get to
about is
Stephen A. in a
improving
minute.
the city that I love, the city that he loves, and the city that the New Yorkers love. That's the only conversation we have, how we improve the city.
Recently at all?
No, not since the Madison Square Garden.
Any other questions not addressed? Josie?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
What up, Vaughn? I'm going to read that shortly.
Trump today said that he would consider a pardon for you. How do you feel about that? This is a different question because it's about Trump's comments today. My second question...
Exactly what you wanted to just
No,
ask.
it's not.
It's not?
Okay, my second question is Idala said today that Ingrid's case, he believes, is targeted at her because the investigators want her to flip on you. Do you agree with that sentiment?
The Trump question, see my attorney. The Ingrid question, see her attorney.
Eric playing the game. Did he not play the game? Did he not play it to win? See, Brandon Johnson, he's staying loyal to Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. I don't know why he's saying. KB says, is he really doing it for a pardon, or is he just annoyed with the current administration, want to actually get things done? Is that even a question? let me ask you a question. What would you put first, your freedom or your annoyance with whoever it is that you don't like? What would you put first? Because I personally believe that the Biden and Kamala Harris administration was targeting him for not playing ball and not playing into what they felt like was the best thing for their campaign and the Democratic Party at the time. And they made him a leper, and then ultimately they sicked the Justice Department on him. I believe that the priority is freedom, but it doesn't mean that two things can't be true at the same time. He could want to be mayor. He could ultimately be tired of whatever the current administration was. But at the same time, it don't mean that you ain't got to be free first. If you don't think that Eric Adams is going to be playing ball, he meeting with Tom Homan, yeah, we need to get the migrants out of here or whatever. Man, I would be doing the same thing. Now he got to focus on trying to win and become the mayor of New York City. Now he has to focus on trying to win and become the mayor of New York City. But I 100% think that he's focused on his freedom first. Ain't nobody trying to be spending their time in jail and be trying to figure out how to get out. Ain't that crazy how everything changed within a month? Hey, remember early November and now we in December 17th and how everything has changed dramatically?
So far, this thing has not failed. Been pretty good so far. Oh, this guy, Russian general?
A Russian nuclear defense force minister over in Moscow was killed by Ukrainians from an e-scooter? Check it out.
Breaking overnight, a senior Russian military official has been killed in an explosion in Moscow. Ukrainian security sources tell CBS News that they were behind this assassination. Officials in Russia say Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov and his assistant died after an explosive device on a scooter detonated near an apartment building. For more on this, we're joined by CBS News reporter Haley Ott. Haley, what can you tell us about what happened?
Good morning, Errol. Yes, Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov was the head of Russia's nuclear and chemical defense forces. And investigators say he and his assistant were killed near the entrance of an apartment building in Moscow this morning by a bomb which was hidden in an electric scooter. Russian state media says the bomb had the power of about 300 grams of TNT and was detonated by remote control. Jesus. Now, Kirillov and the unit he headed were under sanctions by a number of countries, including the U.S. and the U.K., for the use of chemical weapons on the battlefield in Ukraine. And just yesterday, he was charged in absentia there. Ukraine security services saying it's recorded around 4,800 uses of chemical weapons by Russia since its full-scale invasion in February 2022. In particular, from grenades, which are equipped with toxic substances and then dropped on Ukrainian troops from drones. Ukrainian security sources have told CBS News that Ukraine's SBU was behind the attack, killing Kirillov in a, quote, special operation and calling him a war criminal and a legitimate target. Russia has called the bombing a terrorist act. Errol?
All right.
So, what's happening over in Russia is, or Ukraine and Russia, because we don't really get reports from what's happening inside of Ukraine anymore. I remember reading a detailed account of what was happening over in Ukraine, and a lot of people are so privileged here in the United States of America that they don't know what it's like to have war on their own soil. I remember reading a report that was basically saying that when Russian troops was severely occupying Ukraine, and this is why I'm so against this current administration, this Biden-Harris administration, and the Democrat Party that are basically architects of war, in my opinion. I remember reading and going into a detailed account of how when Russian troops was inside of Ukraine, that obviously they would go door to door, and they were killing most of the men or taking them hostage and removing them And they didn't care about the wives or the daughters or anything like that. And so right now, what you see over in Ukraine is there's a lot of women that are actually having Russian babies because they were basically taking advantage of the women, doing them, using them. Obviously, they weren't using a condom. They wasn't worried about contraception whatsoever. But they were using that as a way to continue to keep the troops motivated because it was likely that they were going to die, or they didn't know when they were going to die, or they were starving. And so in order to keep the troops motivated, they were over there using the women as punching bags and as footstools, both physically and emotionally. And they were basically impregnating the women. And if they didn't kill them, then they were going to just let them have their babies and leave them to be. So a lot of people are not familiar with what happens in these wars because the only thing that you see is what happens from the national media. But there are reports and there are deep dives as to how the women or how the lineage is completely changed from what's happening over in Ukraine, which, again, this feeds more into why I am so against the war, because the ones at the top that order the troops on the ground, which that is ultimately a last resort, and why I voted, part of the reason why I'm a Republican now and why I stand for the Republican Party is because they don't believe in war. People just keep saying, oh man, Ukraine got to fight them or whatever. That's because you're not out there. That's because you're not familiar with what the face of war is. You watch a movie, you watch Give Us Free, and you think that you oppressed. No, real suffering and real oppression is happening throughout the world, and it's all for profit. It is all for profit. It is completely avoidable, and it is all for profit.
Breaking overnight, the leader of Russia's nuclear protection forces killed in a bombing in Moscow. Russian officials say the bomb was hidden inside an electric scooter and detonated remotely outside an apartment building today. The Russian general was wanted by Ukraine for using chemical weapons. A source with knowledge of the operation telling CNN Ukraine's security service was behind the assassination. Max Foster joins us live now from London with more on this. Max, good morning. A remarkable event here. Tell us more about who this general is and why the Ukrainians wanted to do this.
Well, what a brazen assassination on the streets of Moscow, just 4 miles from the Kremlin, a remote-controlled bomb planted on an electric scooter.
How did they know that he was going to be riding a scooter is what I'm trying to understand. That's the part that I'm trying to figure out is like, how did they know that was his scooter? Was it a Lime scooter? How did they know? And how did they get so deep into Moscow to where they were able to actually plant that bomb? You know what I'm saying? I want to know the details. Don't just give me the propaganda. Don't just give me the cover story. I want to know the details of what happened and how they were able to get to this guy outside of an apartment building. And they knew that he was going to be the one that ride the scooter.
They got their man because very quickly we heard from sources within Ukraine that this was a revenge attack.
Oh, shout out to Red.
This was
Reggie
a general who ran the forces
Stick around, big dog. I know you
look after the nuclear weapons, the chemical weaponry. And the Ukrainians had very clearly accused him specifically of ordering the use of chemical weapons effectively on the battlefield against the Ukrainian military. So they targeted him, they got him just 4 miles from the Kremlin, as I say. So a massive breach of security for the Russians. We wait to hear their response. But you could call it a triumph for the Ukrainians, but there will be a response as well to this.
Of course there's going to be a response. Somebody got to pay for this.
Max, I mean, this is an intriguing time, I suppose, for Russia, considering, of course, the fall of Assad.
I know that he wasn't riding a scooter. I'm exaggerating the situation. What I'm saying is, how do they have Ukrainians, or is it paid people, or what is going on? Like, I want to know the details of the attack in general. How did they know that he was going to be walking by that particular spot? How did they know when to detonate it? How did they know that it was actually him? Who was watching him at the time? Do they have Ukrainian spies or spies from the United States of America? Who was over in Russia? How did they get so deep into Moscow? That's my whole point. My point is that this is not something that they just randomly stumbled upon, right? This is something that was planned extremely well, meticulously from people that obviously were pros at what they do. I want to know the details. I don't want to just hear the surface level, oh man, he was killed by a scooter attack. How?
In Syria, where of course Russians were, they've given him
correct 4 miles
asylum
from
there, and
that's crazy.
Putin making an appearance in public without even mentioning what was going on there. Really, in many ways, an embarrassment for them and potential security problems since they have access to a warm water port through Syria. Now something like this, and to have the Ukrainians talking about it in public, it seems like Putin is under some pressure, no?
Certainly. I mean, Syria was, Russia's only base, really, a reliable base within the Middle East. They've still got their military installations there. I'm sure there's some negotiation going on between the Syrian regime, as it is now, and the Russians about protecting those assets, whether or not they'll be able to stay. But losing, under major pressure within Syria, in the Middle East, also clearly under pressure in Ukraine. They have been pretty successful, though, on the battlefield.
Because you got to remember that this guy allegedly was the guy that was in charge of everything nuclear related, overseeing artillery, all of that type of stuff. So this wasn't just like a regular general or lieutenant or somebody that was high rate. Like he was that guy. You know what I'm saying? He was that guy. And this is 4 miles away from the Kremlin. I think that Russia is probably just buying this time. How do we know that Russia themselves didn't look at him as a traitor, or they were disappointed in the job that he was doing, and that it's not made to look like Ukrainians are doing this, and this is actually from the inside of Russia, that they were the ones that actually set this off? How do we know this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've learned, especially when it comes to a lot of these reports on international fights and international war, I've learned to start questioning everything, to not just believe, take it into consideration, but not just believe everything that's presented to you on the surface right away. I don't believe that it was just that simple. Oh my God, they sent Jason Bourne in. You know that guy on I think it was Russell Crowe and Jamie Foxx. And it was the movie where they were saying that the guy, they call him in when they want to have somebody killed and all of that, and somebody had wound up killing his family or something, and he came back and he wound up torturing them, and then he started chasing Jamie Foxx and all of that stuff. One of my favorite movies. I didn't like the ending. I thought the ending was absolutely trash. But that was one of my favorite movies. It sounds like he was one of the people that was in there that was taking care of the business somehow.
Forward on those front lines, so they've been claiming triumphs on the battle in Ukraine, but this is a major blow, a big embarrassment, which it does show some vulnerability to think that you could attack anyone in central Moscow as a Ukrainian agent. It's pretty extraordinary, let alone a top general who was specifically targeted.
Right. Well, and I mean, those electric scooters, they're all over cities around the world. I mean, what a sort of sinister use of that technology. But of course, all this, coming as the Russians are scrambling to take territory in Ukraine ahead of President-elect Donald Trump coming into office, and Zelensky mounting a charm offensive to try to win him over. Quite a complicated battlefield, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't believe everything that's just on the surface. 4 miles away from the Kremlin, I don't believe everything that's on the surface. So, again, I'm just reporting the news on this one. We can put our conspiracy theory hats on and evaluate different things. But ultimately, I just think that war is not necessarily about territory. It's not necessarily about rights. It's always about money. Some way, shape, or form, it always comes back down to money. We're not battling for Taiwan because, we want to secure or really be against China. We battling for Taiwan because they're the semiconductor chip capital of the world. You know what I'm saying? It always comes back down to money somehow, some way.
think I might do one more. There we go.
Trump and SoftBank. I kind of gave y'all a preview of what was to come with the breaking news yesterday.
I didn't know we were
about
that close to
the fact that
Japan.
SoftBank was announcing that they were investing $100 billion in the United States of America and hopefully creating at least 100,000 new jobs. So for everybody, for example, that was sitting there whining and complaining and was saying, oh, no. All of the jobs are going to go and Trump are going to drain the jobs and the jobs in America. Well, before he even hits the ground, before he's even inaugurated on January 20th, we already have an announcement with the SoftBank CEO that's saying that they want to invest in the United States of America. And what Trump was saying is that, listen, we got to stop exporting jobs outside of the United States and inviting foreign investment into the United States because we want the money to circulate and to remain here and not just go outside. We want foreign partners, but we want them to come in and do it the right way. But here was the caveat. Trump hit him with the ooh-wop shebang. Trump didn't just say, hey, listen, this is the announcement. He also executed on the art of the deal. Check it out.
President-elect Trump is speaking at Mar-a-Lago right now. He's expected to announce a new $100 billion investment in the U.S. from Japanese company SoftBank. Let's listen in.
A couple of points. We'll take some questions later if you'd like. I'm sure you might have one or two. I'd be shocked if you didn't. I'd be very impressed. But I'm honored to welcome one of the most accomplished business leaders of our time, the founder and CEO of SoftBank, everybody knows, Masa Yoshi-san. Masa runs one of the largest companies in Japan and among the most successful investment and technology companies anywhere in the world, one of the most successful investors in the world. And we've just concluded a very productive meeting, and today I'm thrilled to announce that SoftBank will be investing $100 billion in America, creating 100,000 American jobs at a minimum. And he's doing this because he feels very optimistic about our country since the election. And many other people are also coming in with tremendous amounts of money. You probably noticed that a poll was just taken. It's business is literally in 39 years, there's been nothing like it. It's been the biggest increase. Small business owners gave it a 41% jump. It's the biggest jump that we've had in 39 years. And nobody's ever seen anything like it. And it's just they're very optimistic. This historic investment is a monumental demonstration of confidence in America's future, and it will help ensure that artificial intelligence, emerging technologies, and other industries of tomorrow are built, created, and grown right here in the USA. One of the beautiful things about Masa is he's very much involved with emerging technology. He probably knows it maybe better than almost anybody. So it's a great honor. And some of you remember after the 2016 election, also SoftBank committed to invest $50 billion in our country, and they did. And a very pleased to say that they kept that promise in every way, shape, and form. And now they're looking to do 100. And I've looked at their books. They do have the possibility of doing more. I'm going to ask them to do a little bit more. But first, I'm going to ask him to speak and just to say a few words. Masa, please. Thank you.
Hey, listen to what he said. Let me back it up for y'all real quick. Watch this. Listen to this.
Looked at their books. They do have the possibility. They're looking to do 100. And I've looked at their books. They do have the possibility of doing more. I'm going to ask them to do a little bit more. But
Trump said, I looked at their books. You know, the reason why I wanted to get the longer form content, and I always try to source longer form content, and not just go based off of whatever the news headlines is, or what CNN says, or what MSNBC says, or even what Fox News says, or ABC says, or any of these places. I think that those are great sources of content also, but I like to look for the actual announcement itself. And the reason that is because the context matters. The context matters. This is the difference between somebody who truly is an acting president, even if they haven't gotten inaugurated yet on January 20th. But he said, listen, I looked at their books. I think they could do a little bit more, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. Let me go ahead. I know the SoftBank CEO was a little nervous. I know he was a little nervous, but we're going to get there.
First, I'm going to ask him to speak and just to say a few words. Masa, please. Thank you.
And he waited till he got him on the spot, too.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm very, very excited. I would really like to celebrate the great victory of President Trump. And my confidence level to the economy of the United States has tremendously increased with his victory. So because of that, I'm now excited to commit this $100 billion and 100,000 jobs.
Now, remember this, right? Because it's not just him saying, listen, I want to give $100 billion or I want to commit to investing. It's investing, which means that they're looking to get a return on their investment, which is fair. You know, you put $100,000 jobs inside of the U.S., you're going to be paying payroll taxes, putting money into the economy. We would like for you to get a return on your investment. And the reason that he feels comfortable putting $100 billion into the U.S. economy is because he committed to doing 50 the last time, and he did so. He actually executed on that the last time that Trump was in office. So business relationships, staying focused. And another point that's important to take from this is that, again, and I've been emphasizing this a lot, is that other countries pay just as much, if not more, attention to what's happening in the U.S. politics as the American citizens. Other countries, business leaders, pay attention to who's going to become president of the United States of America just as much, if not more, than the American citizens. So while they were sitting there trying to have y'all have a conversation about reproductive rights, foreign companies and people outside was looking and saying, hey, man, I'm trying to figure out if we're going to be able to get inside of the United States of America. Are they going to get tough on their borders? Are we going to have to do it the right way? Is it going to be a business environment that's conducive for investment? What is happening? So everything matters. And having somebody that has business acumen is much more important than lifetime politicians.
Into the United States. This is double of last time, as President Trump said. Because I say, oh, President Trump is a double down president. I'm going to have to double down, $100 billion and 100,000 jobs. This is, my confidence level, because that has doubled down. So I am truly excited to make this happen. And of course, business is important, technology is important. But one more thing I'm really hoping is that this President Trump would make the world, bring the world into peace again. That's my additional hope.
Let me tell you another reason why this is happening. And people are not putting the pieces together because they're so shallow, right? It's because Trump is saying if you want to do business in the United States of America, you have to expedite investment, and I have the threat of tariffs. This is still the most prosperous nation on the face of the earth. And if you want to do business here, then you're going to have to make capital investments here. You're going to have to make us happy. Because if y'all got a trade deficit over there, you see what we doing over there to Mexico. You see how I got Canada against the wall. You want to be the next contestant on The Price is Right? They said, nah, we'd rather do business with you and get money with you than to become your adversary. And that's smart.
And I think he will actually make it happen. So anyway, I'm excited to go, and we were discussing, and President Trump said, Masa, double down is not enough. Maybe, go for more, right?
That's what I'm going to ask him right now. Would you make it $200 billion instead of that? He can actually, believe it or not, he can actually afford to do that. Would you do that?
Well, my promise is 100, but, he's now asking to do more. I think, with your leadership, my partnership with you, with your support, I will try to make it happen.
That's good.
All right.
It's called the art of the deal, baby. It's the art of the deal. He said, hey, listen, I looked at your books. 100 billion is cool, but 200 billion is awesome. And he put him on a spot in real time. Put him on a spot, and he said, listen, I looked at it. I think you can go more. I think he's going to go down as the greatest president in our lifetime, honest to God.
Well, he's going to say.
I think he's going to go down as the greatest president in our lifetime. I really do. I think that that's what's going to happen.
200. He'll make it happen. 200 billion investment.
He is a great negotiator.
Dog, look at how he handling them. Look.
He'll make it happen. 200 billion investment.
He is a great negotiator.
He's a brilliant guy and did an unbelievable job, and the people of Japan and all over the world are very proud of him.
Hey, man, don't be grabbing me by my shoulders like that.
That was funny.
Hey, man.
That was real funny.
Hey, man, I feel like we in prison right now, dog. What you mean? Give you both of my honey buns. Hey, man, hey. You know what I'm saying? You start getting somebody get a little too handsy, a little too strong. I ran into one of y'all. Actually, you know what's so funny? I ran into one of y'all at the show. And somebody said, hey, what's going on? Because, I like to go out and kick it with people and stuff like that. And somebody, I know y'all like firm handshakes, but one of y'all look like y'all have been working out with that thing that they used to sell late night online or whatever like that. And they grabbed my hand and I said, hold on. Tried to squeeze my hand a little bit. I said, okay. I got forearms too. I could figure it out. Tried to grab my hand and look and then bring me close. What's going on, Anton? I said, We were sitting there like this a little bit. All right. Okay. You can't be sunning me. You can't do that. You can't be grabbing me by my shoulder, dog.
Unbelievable job, and the people of Japan.
Can't do that.
He is a great negotiator.
No, don't pat me on my back, dog. Don't. That's what you do to the women. You know what I'm saying? After they get done showing you some love and then they walk out the room, you slap them on the butt a couple times. I see you, baby. No, don't. Hey. Don't be slapping me on my back now. All right?
He's a brilliant guy and did an unbelievable job, and the people of Japan and all over the world are very proud of him. They have tremendous respect for him. So what he does, what he just did, and I would be surprised if what didn't go to do. When you say you'll try, I know you'll do it.
I will really try. And I need your support, though.
You'll have my support.
All right.
You'll have our country's support.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you, Master. Very much
Fantastic.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
You want to
Great
say hello
event.
to the people of Japan who are all watching?
Well, I'm sure.
This is a masterclass, and y'all watching it in real time, and I don't even think that y'all can really appreciate it.
Our people in Japan are proud to make the partnership of U.S. and Japan be stronger, and I'm very excited to make this happen. Thank you very much.
So there you have it. CEO of SoftBank just got a little bit manhandled, got grabbed up by his suit and collar, got patted on the back, and told that he needed to make that $200 billion investment. He said, I'm going to need your support. He said, you got my support, but I know you can do it. I know you can do it. Oh my God. Great job, President Trump. I'm sorry, President-elect Trump. While the women on The View continue to complain.
Huh. Oh, wow. That's really good. 324, 324, 324, 324, 324, 324. Yeah, I knew I needed those stabilizers. I could buy that and get an upgrade. Okay. Alright, most I got are 270s. For that. Accuracy. $725 power. $725 power. Oh, these are exactly the same. Oh, okay. Well, that replaces that module. This is one if you want accuracy. One accuracy. Then buy that. Replace that. I don't know if I can buy this one. No, I'm out of stabilizers. So I got to get more stabilizers and I come back and I can upgrade these. Alright.
Come again.
Well, that's something. 324 upgrade. Got to figure out these level 80s, how to do it. They made the level 80 modification gear very complicated. I was getting level 75 modification gear, but the highest, it goes from 70 to 80, and they give you some free 75s. But I stopped getting 75s. So now I'm stuck with 70s and whatever else I can get in there. 70s and 75s. So got to remember to get more stabilizers, and I'm glad I got the ones that I got before. Flashpoint gear.
Your money's always good here. Yeah, see, these are good. Yeah, I need to get more stabilizer. Come again.
Because it gives you a choice sometimes to get stabilizers or another piece of equipment. And I've been getting the stabilizers because I remember somebody in there said that you need that. Alright, so that's cool because look at the difference. This is the one I just bought, level 324, 729 power. This, the lower level one's 270. 324, 270 is what I got mostly, is 270s. No, 258. Should have swapped out the 258. Can't put that there, right? This I might try to decompose it later. And I'm we do what we can. It'll take a while to earn all those stabilizers. Here, see. I supposedly have 40 left. I don't know why I can't buy something else. Check. This is for Flashpoint.
Your money's always good here.
Oh, you need 60 for that one. But that only has 222 power. This one has a bit of power. Oh, you need 60. Oh, it says I have 40. I thought I had said more. Okay. Yep, I just need to get more of those stabilizers so I can upgrade all those. That's cool. That's something. Alright. Well, I'm going to end the video here. I'm just going to go park next to the missions, the heroic missions. Could always do a group finder, but for now, I'll just do these because this is giving me good rewards. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I'll thumbs up Anton's video. Have a good night, good evening, good morning. Bye-bye.